Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I'm Usman Ali from the platform of Muslim College Gojra, the name of excellence, with another English lecture for Part 1 intermediate students on the topic correction of verb. The first of the point to be discussed today is form of verb with let. The question is, what should be the form of verb used in sentences with let? And you know, let is used in sentences where you seek permission from someone, or you let somebody do something, or you suggest someone to do something. I have written two sentences and I want to clarify two things in let sentences to you. One, whenever you use let in a sentence, the pronoun used should be in objective case. The pronoun used should be in objective case. You can never write let I. It should be let me. Same is the case here. You should never write let she. You should write let her. When you use let in a sentence, the case of pronoun used after should be objective case of pronoun. The other thing, the main thing, we basically are focusing on our correction of verb. The main thing is which form of verb should we use in let sentences. That is present form of verb, verbs, present form, verbs, first form. The form used in let sentences is verbs, present form, or verbs, first form. The other structure in let sentences is with before. There are two clauses. One is with let and the other starts after the word before, the conjunction before. Before clause is an independent is a dependent clause, and let is an independent clause. And with the clause with let should have verbs present form, simple, and there shouldn't be any s or es added to verbs present form in let clause. But the clause starting after before, having before conjunction, should have verbs present form, and it can have s or es added if your subject is third person singular. So the conclusion is before clause should be in simple present tense. Simple present tense. So the conclusion is let sentences without the conjunction before should have only verbs present form, and if it has two clauses with the conjunction before, it should have verbs present form with let clause and simple present tense in before clause. The other point is present continuous tense. It's very simple. Whatever indication is given to you for an action that is continuous at the moment should be translated, should be written in present continuous tense. For example, in this sentence, I am teaching at the moment. At the moment, the action is in continuation at the moment. I am teaching right now. Right now is another example of an indication that the action being discussed is in continuation. We are not going to college nowadays. Nowadays, action is in continuation, but we are not going to college. Like we daily go to college, and that action has stopped nowadays because of coronavirus. Nowadays is used for actions that are continuous but with pauses. For example, I am teaching in Muslim college nowadays. I daily come. We have some fixed working hours in our institution. We work and go home, and the next day we come to college again. So some actions that are in continuation with pauses are written with the use of nowadays. So we are not going to college nowadays. Now, at the moment, right now, I told you, still, outside. anything that is giving you some indication of an action that may be continuous at that particular time of speech. For example, if I say who is shouting, I hear somebody shouting outside and I ask a question, hey, check who is shouting outside. So that action which is happening outside at that moment of speech is in continuation manner. Who is shouting outside? So whatever is happening outside is in continuation. So anything that indicates to you that something is in some action is in continuation manner should be translated in present continuous tense. And you know, in present continuous tense we use present helping verbs is, am, are, and verbs present participle form, that is verbs first form plus ing. The third point is use of never or ever in present perfect tense. Everybody knows that present perfect tense use has or have plus verbs past participle. Verbs third form, has or have plus verbs third form. Has or have plus verbs third form. In present perfect tense we use never or ever to discuss about our experiences of somebody are discussed in present perfect tense using never or ever. We ask somebody, have you ever driven a car? Ever is used in questions, interrogative sentences, and then we answer saying never if we haven't done something, or saying yes I have if we have done something, if we have that particular experience. Somebody comes and asks you, have you ever driven a car? If you have driven a car in your life, you would say yes I have. And if you have never driven a car in your life, that is your experience also, you would say no, I have never driven a car. I have never driven a car. So never and ever are used to discuss our experiences in our life. The next point is past continuous tense using conjunction when. When as a relative as a conjunction is being used here, and it has two clauses. One clause is in verbs past form, that is past tense, and the other clause is in helping verb, past helping verb was or were plus verbs present form plus ing, that is present participle, and it is past continuous tense. So if you see a sentence like this having when as a conjunction and that when clause is in verbs past form, you should automatically translate the principal clause of that sentence in past continuous tense using helping verb plus present participle form of verb. I was singing a song when you arrived. Somebody arrives here. When he arrives, at that particular moment, I would be doing something, and that action is in continuation. And this verb, past verb, is telling me that both the clauses should be in past form. I was singing a song when the other clause, the other action has already completed. That should be in past tense, when you arrived. And in your question paper, one of the verbs in these kind of sentences would be missing. You would have to understand the clause that is complete and give the verb which is missing accordingly. For example, in your paper, it should be I was singing a song when you dash, and there will be 4 options given. You have to choose verb's second form in your given options. And if it is like I dash a song when you arrived, you have got verb's past form. it means past tense. The tense here should be past continuous tense. He was playing football when his father called verbs, past form, past tense, and here once again helping verb plus verbs present participle form. He was playing football when his father called him. If he gives you the complete clause here, you should know the verb that you should choose for your answer as was plus verb's first form plus ing. And if he gives you this complete clause with the verb and ask for answer here, you should choose verb's second form, that is past tense. The fifth and the last point of my lecture today is use of until or unless. Use of until and unless. Here in this sentence, you cannot achieve your goal until or unless you stick to it firmly. There are two clauses. One is until unless clause and the other is principal clause of this sentence, which is you cannot achieve your goal. What we commit most frequently, that error is that we mostly use the negative sentence with until and unless, which is grammatically incorrect. Whenever you find a sentence like this, your clause with until or unless should be in assertive structure and the clause before it should be in negative structure. If you use negative structure here, that will be ungrammatical. So you cannot achieve your goal until or unless you stick to it firmly. It should not be you do not stick to it firmly. Two negatives make one positive. So you should use negative here and positive here. And the form of verb used in these kind of sentences is verbs present form, and here modal verb plus verbs present form. You cannot achieve your goal if he gives you this clause with the verb complete. You should choose verbs present form with until or unless, and if he gives you verbs present form here, you should find out some modal verb and verbs present form. Thank you so much, dear student, for giving your precious time. I hope this lecture will be very helpful for you people. I say goodbye to you. Take care of yourself. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.